Hi there guys, and welcome to my latest effect, Nesis. You see what I've done there with the name. Anyways, ever since I saw Uri Geller bending metal objects on the TV in the 1970s, I've been hooked on this kind of effect. So just a brief history of how I got into creating my key bending effect. I performed and bought many effects, the key bending effects. I mainly used memory metal. I found this is really good and works very well. But I just found before a performance I felt a little bit pressured because I had to, it works on the cold and the heat. You have to set the gimmick by freezing it to bend it straight. And I always felt that it didn't completely bend straight. There was always a kink in the metal, and I would have to freeze this at home, pre-freeze it, set it straight, put it in a Tupperware box with some ice in it, and then have to get it out in my performance, which just added a little bit of stress. Or I had to buy a freezing spray and freeze it when I was at the gig, which it always smelt funny. It was like a medical spray. It always smelt a bit strange, and people would comment on this. And if I put the gimmick in their hand or the key in their hand, they would say, "Oh, why is it cold?" You know. So I basically just had a rethink of how I could create something that did away with this method. So, but I'm not knocking that method. As like I said, it's a brilliant piece of kit, the memory metal. So now I'll unbox my latest effect, the Nesis, and show you how it basically works. Thank you. What you get inside, I'll just unpack this, and you get three pieces there. You get your main key fob. This is just a generic one. It's it just so happens to be a Volkswagen, and you get your little badge in there which you can stick on if you want to, or you can have your own brand. You can easily get these on the internet, so it's no problem. But for all intents and purposes, people don't normally notice you. They're not going to follow you to your car and see what car you get into at the end of the day. So this is, like I said, that's the main bit. This is a pre-bent key fob. So the main key there is being pre-bent. Then the nice little piece to this is the fooling piece that fools people. Let's just put that under there. Is a little bit that's been cut off another key fob, and this has got a magnetic piece there that just clips on to the top of the key, like so. So that's a little magnetic piece there that mimics that, and that just sits on top quite strongly. So what that means, when your hand is there, it's covering the bent piece, so it just looks like a normal key fob for all intents and purposes from that angle. And you can go from that angle also, and show it like that. So you've got pretty much quite a lot of coverage there. You can get away with quite a lot of angles to show that in its open position, because that's what it's mimicking. It's mimicking that this key is, imagine that straight, that key's flipped open, and you're just showing it as your normal open key, like so. So that's how you basically hold it and handle it when you're showing it open. It does have an orientation. If you have a close look at it, you'll see that the magnet, where the magnet is sat on the key where it's been stuck, that has to be at the front, because I've cut a little section out of the the key and stuck it. It's been stuck down there, but that little magnet has to be at the front, so it sits close and it's more central, and it looks more like, you know, a normal key that's open. So just make sure that that's right at the front of this little magnetic piece here. That means that when you show it like so, it looks like that's a continuation of this piece here. It looks like just a natural key that's open. So I hope that makes sense, because if you try and, you know, if that wouldn't work anyways if you try to stick it back there. So that naturally wants to be in that position like so. So anyways, that's basically how you would set it up, and before you go into your performance. I mean, you can have, you know, stand in front of a mirror and just have a look how you can hold this. Like I say, it's built so you can just hold that piece and just cover it with your fingers, like so. You can even put your thumb over it like that to cover. The thumb quite naturally sits in that position, which would cover it as well, like so. Also, I'll just say, if you want to put this on your little badge, I'll just show you how to do that. It's got a sticky back on it. Just peel that back. Like I said, you don't have to if you don't want to. If you want it to match your car, and that's fair enough. If you go online, or you might even have a spare one. The VW's up the right way, and just it goes in this little section there for it to go in. So if you just stick that in like so, and it naturally falls into place, and then that's all in position like that, and you're ready to go. There are 4 handlings. This is the first handling that I do. It's quite a simple, straightforward key bend. So you'd hold your key like that to show that it's open. You say, look at my key, the key's open at the moment. Have you ever seen these fobs that flip open? You notice that this is straight, but you can do something amazing with this. And as you come around like this, you just go like you're going to grab the key, and as you do that, you press the button on there, and the key will flip round like so, and then you just take that and start to bend the key. You can twist around like that to make it a bit more visual, and you can then let it bend over your finger like so, and then that's bent. And now I'll show you from the back what's happening, exactly what you're doing. Now from the back view of what is happening, obviously from the front they can't see this happening, because as you come across you cover all that. So as you come forward to pretend to bend that, or to bend your metal key there, as you come over you press the button there and it will flip round. You just let that flip round into position like so, then you peel that off and you just drop that into the hand like so, and then you, as holding that back, you start to bend that and twist it and bend it around like so. So from the front this is all being covered quite naturally in palm position. That's palmed off like that. So just again, briefly, quickly, once again, just to show you again, that's put into position like that. So from the front that looks all normal. From the back, like I say, the spectators are there. You come across to grab it to go to bend it, flip the key fob around, that naturally pushes it out. You peel that off like so, then bring that out, let that slip out, and start to bend the key like so. And as you just, when you've done that, drop that hand down, so you take all the heat off of that hand and bring that forward so that you can hand that out for inspection. So yeah, now we'll get a close-up of how to bend it inside a spectator's hand. So basically all you would do is you would again show the key fob open, or the key open, and draw attention that the key is straight. And what you're going to do is you're going to, now the key's bent in that position, you come, it's basically like the other move, but just slightly different. So you come round to the back, and again you're going to, what I do is I start to let the key flip round, but it's just held back. I'll show you in a minute from the back point of view. So it's already engaged and started to flip round, and then I come across to cover it, and then I just draw back and show it again, and then I basically just hold it in that position, and I ask the spectator to hold their hand out, and I just ever so slowly let that drop into their hand like so, and then I'll bring this hand back, just palming that gimmick into my hand, and then let it drop into the hand, and then obviously they see that this key is slowly bent in their hand. Also you can do it another way, so basically do again exactly what you're going to do in the first instance. Come across, grab, so you're swapping out there, and ask the spectators to open their hand, and to basically you're going to get them to grab and hold it like so. So you want them not to see the key. So as you come across and peel that piece off, grab the spectator's hand, put the key into their hand, and get them to close over it. You don't want them to see the key that's already bent. And then what you would do, you would obviously palm that piece off, and what you do is you come across and get them to feel, can you feel something? And you know, you could heat your hands up and warm their hand, and you could suggest to them that can you feel the metal bending? And then what you do is you then go to the spectator, say hold on to that, and you would just slowly release it, and then you'd pull it out and it would be bent. So that's a couple of ways you can do this into a spectator's hand. So just a back view here. As I said, the spectators are at the front, so they can't obviously see this. So as you come up to grab it again, it's basically like the movement I showed before in the previous handling. But what I do is I slightly just you can release this before, and you can hold this in that position. You can use your finger there just to hold that back. And then you can show your spectators that, and as it flips around like so, you just start to peel that off, and you ask your spectator to hold out their hand. It's called the bird's eye view, and you're showing it, say like a group of spectators are around you, in front of you, you can show it from that position like you're looking down on it. So what you want to do, you're going to mimic rubbing this piece of the key so it starts to bend. So as you come across to start to rub, you're going to, in that position like so, and then you'll start to rub the key, and it will start to bend upwards like so. Let me show you that again. So the key's in position like so, you're showing it down on the key. As you come across to start to rub, you're going to start to rub that and just show that little top piece to begin with, and as you come back and are rubbing, it starts to come up and show it. So this was just an idea by Peter Narday, who suggested you could do it this way, that if you come out like this and say, have you ever seen these keys, the key fobs that flip down, and you just come across and say, look, they flip down into that position, so they're locked. And then now you're free to, they think that it's just been bent back into, gone back into its position like that. So now you're completely free to do whatever bend you want to do rather, because now you can just flip it out and say, look, they flip out like that, and then you're in an ideal position to be completely hands-free to do whatever bend you want to do. And that's a really good suggestion by Peter. I'll just show you from the back what this looks basically like. What you're doing, you're mimicking, if I take the piece away, you're mimicking, if you imagine that was straight, you're mimicking saying, oh, have you ever seen these flip keys? They fold back in like that. So that's what you're doing, you're pretending to fold that back in. So if you have that there, and you're saying, and what you do is I just released that slightly, so it's slightly open, and held that in that position, because what it does is when you say, oh, have you ever seen these flip keys? They fold back in. As you take that to fold it back in, you can hear that click, and in their mind, that click reinforces that that's going back into its position, if that makes sense. So just have it slightly open. So have you ever seen these keys that flip back in? You come across, flip it in, they hear that, but from the front, obviously it looks like you've just put that back into position, and now you're free to go into whatever bend you want to do. So that's just an idea by Peter Nardi. I really like that idea, that you're basically hands-free to, you know, you can show it. Obviously you don't want to show that piece, but you're quite free to show it like this and flash it, and then you can, as you go open it, you can do whatever bend that you basically want to do. So that's an idea by Peter Nardi. Thank you, Peter. So in the unlikely event that the magnet should come dislodged, and when I was making these, I went through a process of trying to find the right glue to stick magnets. You see, metal you can glue that, and it pretty much bonds and sticks and will stay there. But the problem you have with a magnet, it's always wanting to pull away. It's pulling it outward. So in the unlikely event, or an event that it should undo, what you would do, you can, you know, this is not a problem. You can mend these yourself. It's more likely that this part will come off the metal key clip there. So what you're going to want to do, like I said, if you buy a metal super glue, you go into your local hardware store. I normally use Gorilla Glue. It's called Gorilla Glue, and this works wonders. It sticks most things, metal, plastic. So you get your little piece here, and you're going to want to offer it up. You're going to want to get this in the right orientation. So you're going to want to, if you can see there, it needs to be against that end section of that magnet. So you'll feel that grip and go into position. So if you get your key, that's that part of your key there, I don't know if you can see that, this little cut out section it needs to glue into that part. So if you will get a bit of more of a close-up. So that part wants to be glued into there like that. So what I normally do, if you get a little pen, a Sharpie pen, and put a mark on there, then you'll know that part with the pen on it, the Sharpie pen, has to be glued onto the back of this. So if you take that off, and it will have a Sharpie mark on the back, put a blob of a small amount of your Gorilla super glue on there, and just put that on and hold it flush like so, and make sure that that's flush with the bottom, and just hold it for a few seconds, and that will stick there, and then it will be back to its normal, and it will stick back to its normal place. Like, if you have any problems, just phone your dealer where you purchase this, and you can email me, and I can help you out if you have any problems. I'm here to help. I'm on Facebook under Jimmy Strange, and if you have any problems, just drop me a message, and I'll be willing to help you. So thank you ever so much for purchasing my latest effect, Psy-Kinesis. I hope you have lots of fun with it. Enjoy it. Thank you very much.